Have you ever actually looked down at your wrist and wondered about the true value of time? I mean, here's a serious question for you. Why in the world would anyone drop $4,000 or even $31 million on a watch when the smartphone in your pocket tells you the exact time for absolutely free? It's a totally fair question, right? Especially today. But as we're going to see, for a very specific, ultra-exclusive tier of collectors, this has literally nothing to do with knowing what time it is. It's about wearing a masterpiece of microengineering. It's about strapping a piece of literal history to your arm. We are talking about trillionaire treasures today, the absolute ultimate symbols of wealth, craftsmanship, and legacy. So, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking the world's most expensive watch dynasties. We're going to compare these luxury giants by diving into collector opinions, raw value, and honestly, some unbelievable real-world performance metrics. Because believe it or not, some of these incredibly delicate-looking pieces, they were built to survive some of the harshest conditions on the planet. Let's get into it. Part 1, Gateway to Ultra-Luxury, Jaeger-LeCoultre and Jacob & Co. Okay, so these two gateway brands represent totally different philosophies. Let's kick things off with Jaeger-LeCoultre, or JLC. Founded way back in 1833 in Switzerland's snowy Juse Valley, this brand is all about historical, obsessive micromechanics. They are literally famous for shrinking mechanics so small they fit on a pinhead. And talk about real-world performance, back in 1931, they created the Reverso. This thing actually featured a flip mechanism designed as a steel shield to protect the glass face during wild, aggressive polo matches. It is a genuine 1930s sports watch. And with an entry price of just $4,300, it opens the door to a legacy that has ticked on the wrists of Charlie Chaplin in silent films and Elton John during his massive farewell tour. It's basically a portal to the past. But then we hit the disruption. $22 million. Just take a second to process that number. That is the reported private sales price of a custom Billionaire 3 watch by Jacob & Co. We're talking emerald studs, currently locked away in a high-security Dubai vault. Sparked in 1986 by Jacob Arabo, this brand, they do not do quiet elegance. They do trillionaire wrist rebellion. The contrast at this gateway tier is just wild. On one hand, JLC offers this beautiful, historic elegance, starting around $4,300. On the other, Jacob & Co. starts around $5,000 for their raw, bold, Epic X titanium skeleton, but man, it quickly scales into the absolute stratosphere of loud luxury. JLC caters to the classic artist, your Elton Johns, your Charlie Chaplins. Jacob & Co. is the go-to for modern gladiators and hip-hop royalty. You've got fans like Conor McGregor rocking an $18 million diamond fortress and 50 Cent flashing his custom pieces. It is the ultimate whispered precision versus a screaming luxury flex. Part 2. Giants of Horological History, Blancpain and Breguet. Now we're moving up to the brands that haven't just witnessed history. They've actively kept time through the rise and fall of entire empires. Blancpain was founded in 1735 in a literal Swiss barn. I mean, picture that. 40 years later, in 1775, Abraham Louis Breguet sparked his own revolution over in Paris. And if you want to talk about real-world performance breakthroughs, in 1801, Breguet invented the tourbillon. This was a revolutionary gravity-taming cage that made pocket watches infinitely more accurate. Decades later, jumping to 1953, Blancpain created the 50 Fathoms. This was a 300-meter underwater beast that basically birthed the modern dive watch. To put that durability into perspective, director James Cameron wore a custom titanium 50 Fathoms during his 2012 dive to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. That is the very definition of extreme performance. But hey, these centuries-old brands aren't just for history buffs. They still command massive respect in modern pop culture. Case in point, during the 2024 Met Gala, superstar Rihanna stepped out wearing a custom rose gold Breguet, which prompted her to post Breguet the Sky Queen on X. It's this incredible collision of old-world 18th century dial craftsmanship and cutting-edge 21st century celebrity hype. But if you truly want to understand Breguet's pedigree, you have to look at this price tag. $30 million. That is the royal ransom paid at Sotheby's for the legendary Breguet Marie Antoinette pocket watch. This thing was an absolute opus of engineering that took 40 years to finish, finally completed in 1827. It isn't just a timepiece, guys. It is a literal, priceless artifact of French history. Part 3, Pop Culture's Favorite Timepieces, Audemars Piguet and F.P. Journe. So moving into our third tier, we have Audemars Piguet, forged in 1875, and they fundamentally changed the game. Back in 1972, they launched the Royal Oak. It was this steel rebel that completely redefined what a luxury watch could be. It proved that high-end didn't always have to mean fragile, delicate gold. Then in 1993, they pushed the envelope even further with the 42mm offshore beast, shaking industry norms to their absolute core. Fast forward to 2024, and this rugged yet regal lineage is exactly why NBA legend LeBron James chooses to wear a custom gold offshore. AP has evolved from a 1970s rebel into the ultimate courtside trophy. Now, on the completely opposite end of the pop culture spectrum, we have FP Journe. Ignited much more recently in 1999 by a French-Swiss visionary named François-Paul Journe, this brand brings pure 18th century vibes straight into the modern era. The craftsmanship is so highly regarded that actor Benedict Cumberbatch actually wore the tourbillon souverain while filming Doctor Strange, later taking to X to call it My Time Lord. What we're looking at here are two vastly different collector profiles. Audemar's Piguet, starting at around $20,700, is all about that bold stadium flex. They are out there pushing boundaries with innovations like the Code 11.59's 50,000 sapphire curves. Meanwhile, FP Journe, starting at $26,000, is a massive bet on intense, independent craftsmanship. We are talking extreme rarity here. They produce only about 800 watches a year. The artisans are literally hand-carving gold rotors. It's a quiet, cosmic crown compared to AP's roaring heavyweight presence. Part 4, Masters of Precision, Vacheron Constantin and Alain Sonnet. So where do you go when you want the absolute pinnacle of traditional mechanical perfection? You go to Vacheron Constantin. We are talking 269 years of pure, unbroken grit. Sparked in 1755 in Geneva's Old Town, they're actually the oldest watch manufacturer in continuous operation. They've been inventing timekeeping tricks since birthing the date complication back in 1790. And their crowning glory? The 57-2060 Opus. This masterpiece features an absolutely mind-bending 57 complications and holds a staggering $10 million value. Yet, despite all this heavy heritage, it remains flawlessly cool today. Just ask Ryan Reynolds, who was seen rocking one during the 2024 Deadpool press tour. But to truly grasp the sheer engineering madness at this level, we have to look over to Germany. 2,876. That is the number of individual microscopic parts meticulously assembled inside A. Lange and Zuni's rose gold grand complication. They only ever made 6 of them. It is an absolute Teutonic treasure. This is such a fascinating rivalry. You've got Vacheron Constantin, the pride of Geneva since 1755, offering a gateway into their flawless mechanics at $33,000. And then you have A. Lange and Sonnet from Glaschette, Germany, founded in 1845. Their entry price? A massive step up at $77,300. That premium reflects their obsessive, uncompromising dedication to pure German engineering. Whether it's Ryan Reynolds sporting his Vacheron or Chris Pine wearing A. Lange at a Star Trek premiere, these are the watches for people who demand absolute mechanical mastery. Part 5, the apex of watchmaking, Patek Philippe and Richard Mille. All right, here we are, the absolute summit. If you ever for a second doubt the power of Patek Philippe, just consider this. $31 million. That is what a single steel Patek Philippe Grandmaster chime sold for at the 2019 Only Watch charity auction. Born in 1839, Patek represents the mark of eternity. With an entry piece like the Aquanaut starting around $88,000, you have 700 artisans in Geneva hand-finishing their pieces, creating these intricate celestial dances and unparalleled complications. They are, without question, the kings of traditional luxury. But then, 1999 happens. Richard Mille launches and completely, unapologetically rewrites the rulebook. Forget heavy gold, forget centuries of tradition. Richard Mille is F1 inspired. It is all about aerospace grit. We are talking about watches made of sapphire crystal and graphene that weigh a mere 38 grams. That's literally as light as a feather, yet they are incredibly tough. This is pure, unadulterated velocity, with an entry price starting at $60,000. And that extreme real-world performance is exactly why the world's greatest athletes wear them while they are actively competing. I mean, we aren't talking about wearing a nice watch to a press conference. We are talking about the fastest man alive, Usain Bolt, actively sprinting at the Olympics while wearing his RM27-04. The shockproof bridges inside these watches can literally withstand the G-forces of an Olympic sprint or a Rafael Nadal's tennis swing. As Bolt posted on X, RM's my lightning. So, we are left with the ultimate contrast at the very apex of wealth. On one side, Patek Philippe. Born in 1839, it's the ultimate heirloom. It's favored by stars like Tom Holland, symbolizing a timeless legacy you pass down to the next generation. On the other side, Richard Mille, born in 1999, a high-tech marvel of aerospace grit and shockproof engineering. It's the ultimate modern flex for elite track stars and billionaires who basically want to wear a Formula One car on their wrist. Well, we've explored the history, the absolutely staggering prices, the flawless craftsmanship, and the wild real-world performance of these incredible machines. From JLC's polo shields to Blancpain's deep-sea divers, right up to Richard Mille's Olympic sprinters. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder. If you somehow had the keys to the vault, which trillionaire wrist dynasty matches your wealth vibe? Are you claiming the historic elegance, or are you going for the loud luxury flex? Let that tick in your mind for a while. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you guys next time.